Okay, we are live right now. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. My name is Emeka Nobis, as usual, and this is also another time for us to have a beautiful conversation regarding how to make money. This evening, I'm sitting here with Ajayi Olalekon, and he is going to be teaching us how to make money in dollars. Absolutely, you can see dollars there. And you can believe me that now is a very good time to have conversations around making money in dollars because of the state of the Nigerian naira. All right. And beyond that,
Absolutely.
it's good that you can earn from different parts, not necessarily Nigeria. That's the borderlessness that we are preaching all across the nation. So today, this evening, if you're tuning in, please let us know where you're tuning in from. We welcome you to join this conversation. As usual, I'm always bringing amazing individuals to have conversations with us that can be very, very fruitful for every one of us. So Olalekon is here already, and he's going to be sharing with us his story. I mean, I've read his story from going into lots of debts to being able to pay off his debts, and then now working from the comfort of his home, and he is earning in dollars. All right, so let's know where you are tuning in from. Victoria Wigwe, already from Owerri, Imo State. And another thing, please, usually what I do during my live streams is to tell you to go and invite as many people as possible, tag them, let them come in here to be part of what it is that we're doing. Tag them, tag them, tag them. Be part of what it is we are doing here. Tag them, tag your friends, tag them, bring them, tag them, tag them, tag them. All right, invite them so that they are part of what we are doing, and then share the live stream. All right, there's a share button beneath the screen, so share it so that many people can be part of what it is that we are doing here. All right, so for me, I have my cup of coffee with me here, and I'm looking forward to being part of the session on learning as much as I can, and with my pen and my notepad. Please do the same thing so this is my notepad. I'm with my notepad, and then I have my pen with me. All right, I have my pen with me here to jot down and note as many things as possible. All right, so tell your friends to come and learn, and then share the live stream. All right, so Ajayi, go ahead, um, introduce yourself, and dive straight into it. How we can earn in dollars. Go ahead, sir.
All right, thank you so much, the Dawn. There's only one Dawn in Nigeria, and of course, as far as we know, the Dawn is also going international. So there's only one Dawn in the entire world. I'm so pumped up to be here tonight, and I am ready to go. All right, guys. So my name simply is Ajayi Olalekon. People call me Coach D. I'm going to tell you more about myself as I get into the slide. But basically, tonight, I just want to share with us how to earn from your living room. And like the Don said, there is no better time to talk about earning in foreign currency than at this moment where the naira is gradually falling every day. And I think I was online earlier today and I saw that $1 to naira now is 840 naira. As at the last time I was in the bank, which was last week, Monday, I changed for 785. So this is probably about 8 days later, and it's about 840, 850. Guys, there is no better time to earn in dollars than this season that we're in. And like you can see on the screen, the hand of the guy there holding dollars is my hand. Yeah, that's my hand. Yours truly. I remember a particular experience. There was a day I went to the bank. I think it was Fidelity, somewhere in Ogudu. No, not Ogudu, Bagada in Lagos. So this guy sees me come to the bank every time, and I come to make international transactions. I come to withdraw dollars and all that. And one day he was forced to ask me, "Bros, come. What exactly do you do? What exactly do you do?" So I have to explain to him that okay, so this is what I do. I actually am a freelance writer, and I actually make money online writing for companies in America. So basically, that's the genesis of the dollar. So this was me on a fateful day. I think this should be 2022 or 2021. I was just coming out of the bank. I was on the stairs. So I decided to just flex my camera, snap my. I think this was the time when I hit my first 1.9 million naira working as a freelancer. So I wanted to flex my dollars. I took a picture of it, and it was just a good feeling. I think I had about 39 or thereabouts of $100 bills, and that was exactly 1.9 millionaire. How much does it really take to be a millionaire in Nigeria right now if you're actually earning in dollars? I'm going to tell you it's right about $1,200 to actually be a millionaire right now in Nigeria. So we're going to be talking about how exactly that happens, how does that work, so that you can understand how this is all about. All right, so we're just going to go in. Now, this is going to be a turning point in your life. Why do I know this for sure? Because freelancing changed my life. So right now, I'm actually seated in my living room and I'm living, not the best of life. I won't, exaggerate my results, but I'm actually saying that where I was 2020 and where I am now, they are irreconcilable. I've gone way ahead. And the only thing that I would say changed the whole game for me was actually the internet and the power of freelancing. So I'm going to show you all of that in a bit. So a little about me. My name is Ajayi Olalikon Divine Johnson Asamoah, born of a complete Nigerian father and a crossbreed mother. My mom's parents, the mom is actually from Nigeria. My dad is from Ghana. So basically, I'm actually, you can call me half caste, kind of. I'm a digital entrepreneur and I also coach people on how to start a profitable freelance business. All right, guys. So some 4 years ago, I was broke. I was in debt, but the internet changed my life. So I went for National Youth Service in 2017, somewhere in Abakaliki, Ebonyi State. And I was a big boy before I went for service, actually. I was into real estate back in Ondo State. So I made a lot of money from real estate. I got myself my first land, in 2016. Then going into NYC, I had so much money. Then I got to NYC, made a lot of bad decisions. One of my bad decisions was I also invested in MMM. I think I invested so much money in day, and probably 2 or 3 days afterwards, MMM crashed. I lost my money. I lost the money that was also in my care, given to me by other people, and that was how I ran into some serious debts. So for the next 3 years, I was going to live in a circle. Of course, as a National Youth Corps member, I was earning 19,800. I was owing close to 600K. There is actually no way to reconcile the two figures. So I finished my service in October 2017. I went back to Lagos. I was looking for a job. I didn't get a job until September 2018. And the job I got was a PA to a director in Lagos, and I was earning 55,000 naira. After all the deductions, I was going with 50,500. So there was also no way I could actually augment my debt with what I was earning. And to also give you another background to that, 2019, I had my master's in Unilag. So all the salary I was getting was going on, my master's program, transport, feeding, and all of the, very expensive life that you get to pay for when you are living in Lagos. So 2017, 18, 19, 20 were the darkest moments of my life. I was in debt, left, right, front, and back, and even center. I knew all the apps, all the loan apps you can think of, whether it was Carbon, which is now Pay Later. I knew Quick Cash. I knew O Cash. I knew all the apps you can think of. As a matter of fact, I got to a point where anytime my friends want to take loan and they want to know which of the loan apps, can actually give you money with 1 month, payable time, I knew everything. Which of the banks actually collected little interest. I knew all the. Just ask me. I became a consultant when it comes to loan apps in Nigeria. But finally, in 2020, I got another job, with a consulting firm in Lagos, and I started on the 4th of March 2020, and I was 2 weeks on the job. March 17, Nigeria went on lockdown, either 17 or 16, but on 17, we're told at the office that we needed to go back home and we're not going to resume until the lockdown was actually lifted. I lost my job again, and I was back to being jobless. All right. June 2020, I finally told myself, what are you going to do? I asked myself, what are you going to do with your life? Some things happened before then, but I finally came to a conclusion that I was going to take a stock of all the skills that I had. I had close to 10 or thereabout. I knew about email marketing. I knew about a little about web development. I knew about graphic design. I could write. I knew just a lot of, I had some of these skills that I had never put to use, at all. So I told myself, I'm going to list all of these skills and I'm going to see what I can actually do with these skills on the internet. So June 2020, I started my agency, the Optimal Edge Business Concept, and I began to sell my skills on the internet. And finally, I attended a coaching program. I won't mention the name of the coach, so that this does not look like a marketing program. So I attended a coaching program in November, and one of the things the coach said to us during the program was, instead of going for the small boys in your industry, why not go for the big boys? More or less like, instead of going for the sheep in your industry, why not go for the shepherd? So I was looking at this strategy and I'm asking myself, how do I apply this to my own business as a freelancer? Then 2021 January, I told myself I was never going to prospect Nigerian and African clients again. My goal at that point was to break into the American market and begin to earn in dollars. And guys, I worked my ass off. I'm not going to tell you that it came easy or it came cheap. At least I sent out close to 100 proposals before I got my first, gig. But that was February 2021. I got my first gig online, $60. It was a 4 hours writing job, $15 per hour. And as soon as that worked, something told me, if this can work using this your strategy, it can work again and again. And that was how, guys, I gave my totality to freelancing. I got my second client in May 2021. It was a 10 years contract. I think we are 2 years into the contract now. I'm still working with the company. I still have 8 years left on the contract. And that was entirely how my story changed. In July 2021, I made $3,800. That was my first time, counting a million that belonged to me. So I walked straight to the bank, which is the picture that you saw in the first slide. I walked to the bank, withdrew my $3,800. I, later changed it. At that point, dollar was changing for probably, I think, around 500 or thereabout. So $3,800 was 1.9 million naira. So in 2021, working on the internet, I became a millionaire after living 3 to 4 years in debt. So guys, I'm about to show you how exactly, what are the systems and the processes that worked for me to make that happen. But this story is quite necessary because I know a lot of you will be able to relate with this story. Almost every young person or everybody in Nigeria, almost, I said almost, means it's not everybody, but a lot of people actually are indebted to loan apps, because you have to, just borrow to augment, whatever it is you make. I'm simply going to show you tonight how you can take charge of your own finances, how you can make money from the comfort of your home, and how you can make money in the top currencies in the world. So guys, enough of my story. Let's get right into it. So what is remote work or freelancing? You can call it remote or you can call it freelancing. Ordinarily, freelancing is a broad concept. It can actually, mean just doing contract work. You're not tied to a full-time job. And that could be a carpenter, that could be a bricklayer, for example, can actually qualify as a freelancer. But in recent years, the time has been mostly used to online work, gig economy, or what you call remote work. So remote work is the practice of employees doing their job from a location other than a central office operated by an employer. For example, I left my final job in 2020, and it's 3 years after. I have never stepped my leg or my foot in an office to work for anybody. I work for myself. And I work from the comfort of my home. Sometimes 1-2 days I don't get to leave my house. Is a life I've gotten used to. Like I always joke, I like to be a stay-at-home dad. I just love the life that I live right now. So as a remote worker, you can actually work 3 different ways. You can work as a full-timer. Okay, so there's what we call, you can actually do full-time work. That is, you can be in your house, work for a company, say in the US, and then you work for 8 hours, So even though there are time differences, but you can actually find a way to manage it. You're going to be on standby working for the company for 8 hours. But of course, you can also do what we also call freelancing, meaning you are not regimented to any time. You just work when you choose to. So that is basically what I do. So I haven't defined the concept. We're now going to get into building a successful remote or online business. I'm going to show you the basic steps. I'm going to also do my best to simplify it so that immediately you leave this training tonight, you can actually act on the things that I'm going to share with you tonight. Nothing complex, I'm just going to make it very simple. So the internet is perhaps the best way to earn money today. And the space does not respect age, does not respect color, does not respect ethnicity. You can actually there are freelancers on Upwork that are 60, 70. There are also freelancers that are young like me. I'm in my early 30s, so it does not respect age. And I may prove that it also does not respect color. So sometimes people feel like, oh, as a Nigerian or an African, you are disadvantaged. Truly, I'm not going to, hype it too much. There are certain disadvantages you have as an African when it comes to the gig economy, definitely. For example, one of the challenges you're going to face is payment options. For the fact that if you're in Nigeria, for example, PayPal does not allow you to, receive money from abroad. You can only send. That's a limitation on its own. And sometimes too, there's the barrier of, the fact that people feel like Africans or typically Nigerians may not actually, give the best of job. But I'm still saying, in spite and despite, I know quite a couple of freelancers, including myself, who actually work for foreign international brands, and we work for them and we earn, cool money. And these companies, so I'm going to give you a story. Some point when I was working for this company and we were having issues with payments, so we decided to use Western Union. So every time this company sends me, say, $300, Western Union has no problem. But when they send me $1,000, $2,000, there's always, a double check. And one of the days, the accountant was asked, okay, so the accountant sent me money, they froze the money, asked the accountant to call them to actually prove that this money is actually not going to a fraudster, aka Yahoo Yahoo. So the accountant called them and then they went back and forth. And ultimately, the accountant told me that she told them, get used to the name Ajayi or Laleko because we're going to be sending money to him frequently. And I don't want to have to make this call all the time. Why? Because this guy works for us from Nigeria, but he's good at what he does. So what am I trying to say? If you are good at what you do, there comes a point where your color does not matter, your ethnicity does not matter. What matters is the value that you are able to bring to the space. Guys, are we together? So a very beautiful part of this new way of making money is that in most cases, you also do not need a lot of capital. So I'm going to give you this for a fact. I got this laptop, which I'm actually speaking to you now, sometimes in 2022. That was 2 years after I started as a freelancer. So now this is me uniquely. I want to just make that confession. For example, this slide you are looking at on your screen, I designed it on Canva and I used my mobile phone. So when I started out as a freelancer, I worked as a freelancer for 2 solid years before I finally went to get a laptop. So now, and it was not because I didn't have the money to buy the laptop. I just have been a person who I've gotten used to using my phone, that I do 95% of the things that I do using my phone instead of my laptop. So guys, I'm also saying that, to start as a freelancer, of course, there are some kinds of skills you want to sell that you definitely need a laptop. For example, if you want to be a web developer, for example, on the internet, you definitely need a laptop. But there are still some other skills that you can sell. You can basically begin with your phone. The internet is a millionaire fast lane. So I'll give you this scenario. When I was working in Lagos and I was earning 55,000 naira, if I wanted to be a millionaire, I would need to save that money for about 17 or 18 months before I become a millionaire. All right, guys. But working as a freelancer on the internet, in 2 weeks, in July 2021, in 2 weeks, I was able to make $3,800 and I had 1.9 million. I became a millionaire in just 2 weeks. So tell me, guys, that is a millionaire fast lane. And that's what I want to show you as we continue. So whether offline or online, I want to tell you this. Business follows the same principle. For example, when we're in secondary school or primary school for some of us, and we're taught a definition of money, which is that money is a medium of value exchange. What does it mean? People pay for value. So the money, money is in your ability to be able to create value for others. So sometimes, for example, at the beginning of 2023, some of you would have said, oh, this year I want to make 10 million naira. But the question is, what value do you want to offer in exchange for that 10 million? Because I, for example, you would not get the money in my wallet, in my bank account, unless you are offering me some value. All right, guys. So if you want to make a particular amount of money, what you should be thinking about is, what value are you willing to give in exchange for this kind of money that you want to make? So when it comes to freelancing, to the same principles of money that works offline also works online. You just don't come online and then come and begin to make dollars. Guys, let's take it gently. You need to bring something to the table. Like we always ask ourselves in the Nigeria relationship space, what are the women bringing to the table? Now, so guys, in the freelancing industry too, the question has to be answered. What value are you bringing to the industry, to the internet space? And that I'm going to help you answer some of them very quickly. But let me give you a stat. The global digital transformation market size was estimated at 1.79 trillion in 2021. I always like to do, a little bit of statistics so that you can actually know what is possible. In this 2021, I made roughly $15,000 writing, on the internet. So what does it mean? Out of 1.79 trillion, I took just a little chunk of it, and it was able, it was enough for me to actually live large, from the comfort of my home in Nigeria. So projection is that by 2029, this industry will be worth 6.78 trillion. So I'm going to ask you, and I want you to use the comment section. How much of $1.79 trillion do you need currently as a Nigerian, as a Kenyan, as a South African, and you're going to be living a comfortable life? Let me see what your answer is going to be in the comment section. For some people, I always ask my students this, and sometimes some people say, "Oh, I just need $10,000." Some people say $20,000. Some people say, "Oh, $100,000." But I'm just telling you that this is the money in the industry is so big, so huge, that all you need is just a tiny fraction of it, especially because you are in Nigeria or you are in some part of Africa where a dollar to your currency, is that the figure is actually, worlds apart. For example, if you're in Nigeria, make $10,000 right now, and you are 8.4 million naira richer. Guys, just $10,000 in 2023, you're going to be 8.4 million naira richer. So what does that mean? It means that all you need to do is to know how to position yourself to take a little out of this huge amount, and you're going to be living the best of your life. And let me give you another cheat code. I also always tell my students, I never train anybody from 2021 to actually be a freelancer and then focus on the Nigerian and the African market. It's not, it won't give you good reward for the effort that you put in. I tell my students, you aim for America, you aim for UK, you aim for Canada. Go for the dollars, the pounds, the euros. That is the only way you're going to be maximally fulfilled as a freelancer. So what are the 4 basic things you need to make a living as a freelancer online? Number 1, this one should be obvious, but let's state it again. You need a skill, and we like to call it a digital skill. So if you want to be a freelancer, whether it's on Upwork, on LinkedIn, on Fiverr, on 99 Designs, or all of these platforms, the first thing is that you need a skill. Don't forget my definition of money: value exchange. So you want to come to the internet on Upwork, Fiverr, LinkedIn, to collect people's money. You need to bring a value to the market that is in demand. So there are 2 principles we also teach in our academy. It's called the high-paying principle and the in-demand principle. You are supposed to look for a skill that meets those 2 criteria. Number 1, it has to be high-paying. For example, there are some skills that you're going to possess, and when you want to sell such skills, you may not make more than $1, $2, $3, $5, for example. But there are other skills that when you want to sell on the internet space, you don't get to charge less than, say, $100, $200, and the likes. I wrote an article for a client sometimes last year in US, and I charged $500 for a 3,000 word article. So for just one article, I get to make close to 300,000 naira. And how many hours did this article take me? Even with SEO, with writing, with proofreading, it took me between 4 to 6 hours. So you sit in your home, you work for 4 to 6 hours, you get $500, and that's close to 300K. That's about some people's salary for, say, 5 months, 6 months, some people's salary for, say, 1 year. But again, the point is you need to come with a skill that is valuable. So like I said, there's the high-paying skill, and there's also the in-demand skill. If you're also going to come to the market to sell a skill that nobody needs, it definitely means that you won't get customers. So guys, there is the criteria for picking a skill. Number 1 is it has to be high-paying. It also has to be in demand. So some of the skills you can sell as a freelancer, there are hundreds and thousands of them. So I'm just going to limit them to, for example, if you go to Upwork and go and search for the skills that people are selling on Upwork, you're going to see some skills and you're going to be like, really? People are selling this skill? There are a lot of skills that people sell on, freelance marketplaces. But on the screen, I have graphics design, web design, freelance writing, video editing, photo editing. These are all, content creation skills that you can actually sell online. But like I said, there are hundreds and thousands of them. Email marketing is one of them. Facebook advertising, Instagram advertising, Google advertising, YouTube ads. All of those are skills that you can definitely sell on the internet. And again, these skills can be learned online. It can be learned on Udemy, it can be learned on Skillshare. Let me give you a gist. When I started my business in 2020, I was broke. Like I told you already, I was in debt, I was broke. I could not afford to pay a web developer for my WordPress site. So what did I do? I went on YouTube. I looked for a very detailed tutorial on how to build a WordPress website. And I think I found one that was probably 3 hours or thereabout. So I put the video on one side and I put the system that I borrowed to actually design the site on the other side. As I was watching the video, I was designing. So my first website when I started my freelancing agency in 2020 was developed by yours truly. I designed my first website myself, just watching a 3 hours YouTube video. So guys, I'm simply saying some of these skills can be picked on the internet. You can learn them on platforms like this, and you don't need to take forever to learn them. You can learn them within 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then begin to put them to use. Then with time, you can keep improving yourself and getting better, as you use the skill. So basically, I'm saying that pick a skill. This is the first requirement, the four out of the 4 basic things you need to earn a living online. Number 1, pick a skill. And what are the criteria again? It has to be high-paying and it has to be in demand. Even if you check yourself now, you evaluate yourself like I did in 2020 and I listed close to 10 skills, you may not have a skill now. But what I'm simply saying is you can start today to begin to learn a skill and to master the skill. And with time, in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months or thereabout, you would have mastered the skill and then you can begin to sell on the internet. So remote work involves selling your skills and services, what you're good at, your abilities, your knowledge. So again, these are some of the skills: voiceover, data analysis. Some of you are good with Microsoft Excel. This is one skill that you can use as a data analyst on the internet. And some of you already have these skills. You're already probably selling, for example, some of you watching this video might be graphics designers and you're already designing for people and you're getting 3,000 naira for one design, or 2,500 or 5,000. I'm simply showing you that just like, my coach worked on my psyche in 2020 and I said, no, I'm not playing small again. I'm going for the American industry. After this training, I want to put so much fire in you that you're going to reorder your, business model and you're going to go to the right place where you can be paid maximally for what you do. Some of you do not even know. For example, I just told you how I wrote an article for $500. Somebody in Nigeria can give you the same article and they're telling you, oh, I'll pay you 4 naira per word. 4 naira per word times 3,000 words. You're going to be earning 12,000 naira. What the? Okay, so I'm trying not to use, foul language, but basically I'm just simply saying you need to go where your skill is valued. So I'm not saying stop working for, all this 3K, 5K. They come in handy sometimes, but I'm simply saying after this training, you need to stop playing small and you need to start playing big. So guys, let's go on. The second thing you're going to need if you want to earn a living as a freelancer online is a solid portfolio. So some of the things that qualify for your portfolio is going to be: 1, your resume or your CV. Your cover letter can also come under portfolio. But primarily when we say portfolio in the gig economy, we're talking about a collection of your work. So for example, let's say you're a graphics designer and you reach out to a client, send a proposal to a client in America. The client does not know you from Adam. So he wants to have, the next question they're going to ask you is, send me your portfolio URL. What does that mean? Send me the link that contains the jobs you have done for other clients before. I want to assess them so I can be sure that you're the person we need for the job. So that's like the first thing people are going to ask you when you're interfacing with them for remote work. You need a solid portfolio. So what does that mean? You need to curate the best of your jobs. And let's say you don't even have good jobs right now. I mean, you have not done brilliant, exceptional jobs, because really you need to come with exceptional works, because the freelance industry is highly competitive. For example, if you're going to apply for a job on Upwork, you're going to have, say, 20, 30, 40 people applying for the same job. So there are some factors that is going to set you out from the crowd. 1, your portfolio is going to set you out. How you write your cover letter is going to set you out. If you work on other platforms, your resume may be very key. For example, if you work on LinkedIn, I earn also on LinkedIn. In the last 1 year, I must have made at least $4,000 using LinkedIn. The same LinkedIn that some people actually are, and they're like, oh, what are they even doing on this LinkedIn? Everybody's just bragging and boasting about, I just got a new job. I just finished my, my degree in US and all that. The same in LinkedIn. In the last 1 year, if you want to see my invoice, I'm going to show you. In the last 1 year, I've made at least $4,000 working on LinkedIn. And that's one of the platforms that I use. So I'm simply saying, you need to have a solid portfolio. You need to have a solid collection of your work. And there are several platforms you can use to build your portfolio. If you're a graphic designer, for example, and you have a lot of flyers, and all of that you have designed, you can actually use your Google Drive. put all your designs on Google Drive, generate the link, and then when anybody asks you for your portfolio, send them the link. If you're a writer, for example, you can use Medium as your portfolio. I've used my Medium to get a client before. All that I needed to do was to send my profile URL on Medium to the person, and the person went there and saw a lot of articles. Currently, I'm on Medium. I must have written over 100 articles on Medium. I have over 300 followers on Medium. So that can actually be your portfolio if you are a writer. And of course, there are a lot of them. There's Contently, there is Vizy.com. If you are a designer, there is okay. So where are this portfolio website now? There is okay. So I can't actually pick some of them now. I wanted to give you some others that you can actually use. Let's say you're a web developer, for example. There are several other platforms that you can actually use. Go through some test run of designs there, so that when people say, where is your portfolio, you can copy the link and send to them. So like I said, once you have picked the skill you want to explore and you have committed to learning it, your next goal is to what? Is to create a very strong portfolio. And guys, your early stage won't be about making money, but about developing yourself. Some of you do not have any experience already. So when you pick a skill, probably you have the skill already, you may need to do volunteer work. For example, you may need to volunteer your services for a business and say, oh, I want to work for you for 1 month. What are you trying to do? You're trying to gain experience. You're also trying to build your portfolio so that when anybody wants to see the work you've done before, you have something to show for them. If you're a graphic designer and you're watching me now and you need a portfolio, all you need to do is to do free designs for people. But again, I'm saying it has to be solid work. The American landscape and the Nigerian landscape is not the same. So, some flyer you're going to design for a Nigerian, you'll be like, oh, awesome, beautiful. You can actually design it for an American, and you're like, what is this? So, guys, you need to come to the industry with your A game. So, like I said earlier, if you actually know your onions, you know what you're doing, you're good at it. That is all you need to be able to compete in the international, on the international stage. Know your onions, be good at what you do, be able to communicate your value, and guys, you will definitely survive on the international scene. So number one, we talked about a skill. Number two, a solid portfolio. And don't forget again, your portfolio will include your work, your cover letter or your proposal. It's also going to include sometimes your resume or your CV. So you need to be able to put all of those in such a way that it is compelling enough to give you an edge over every other person competing with you. Then number three, you will need a platform. And on the screen, I have two examples. There's LinkedIn, there's Upwork. But let me give you some other. There's Fiverr. There is, of course, Facebook can be a platform where you get freelance clients. I know a lot of people get clients for their freelance work on Facebook. I don't use Facebook for that. I use Facebook for some other things like coaching, teaching, and the likes. I don't use Facebook to get, clients for my writing. I get clients on LinkedIn. I get clients on Upwork and several other platforms like that. So, but I'm still saying there are a lot of platforms. If you're a designer, for example, there's 99 designs for you. I'm trying to remember some of the other niche-based platforms. There are niche-based platforms and there are general platforms. Upwork, for example, is a general platform. It does not matter what skill you want to sell. If you know how to sleep very well and you want to sell a skill about how to sleep, you can actually sell it on Upwork. That's on the lighter mode. But there's platforms that are designed for specific. For example, when I started freelancing, there's freelancewriting.com. It's just basically for writers, copywriters, creative writers, and the likes. But I think it's in extinction now. It's been replaced most likely by Contently or something like that. So, but there are a lot of platforms. Just go to Google and type freelance marketplace, and you're going to see hundreds of them. All right, guys. But I wrote LinkedIn and Upwork here because that's like what we teach in our academy, especially. So, number one, you need a skill. Number two, you need a portfolio. Number three, you need a marketplace where you're going to be able to connect with potential clients. That's what we call the freelance marketplace. All right, guys. And the fourth in the mix is branding. I can't stress this enough. All your freelance practice has to stand on all these four legs. The top three, compulsory. This one, you may not take it too serious, but if you're really particular about building a successful freelance business, then you can't joke with your branding. I began to take my branding serious in 2020, and it's 3 years afterwards. I'm still not about relenting. As a matter of fact, I'm putting more effort every day. So the totality of all your efforts to position yourself as XYZ and attract people to the value that you can offer is what I call branding. So now that you have the skill, you have the portfolio, how do you position yourself on this marketplace marketplaces or on the internet for people to be able to see your value and to perceive you as somebody they can do business with. That's going to change, that has to change how you think and how you actually, how you work on the internet. Some of us are very frivolous with our Facebook, Instagram, and all of these pages. We comment anywhere, talk anyhow, and all of that. As soon as you get into freelancing, you're going to be very intentional with how you move on the internet space. For example, if you use LinkedIn for your freelance business, I want to tell you one of the features of LinkedIn that many people do not know. When you make a post on LinkedIn, when a person checks your profile, they're going to see your post, definitely. Just like on Facebook, it happens on almost all platforms. But this does not happen on Facebook. Any platform you like, any post you like and comment on LinkedIn is also going to be registered on your profile. So let's say, for example, somebody makes a post about that denigrates women, or that denigrates children, or that denigrates pets, for example, and then you go there, you like the post, and then you drop a very careless comment. It's going to reflect on your profile that this is your activity. So if, for example, I'm a potential client and you meet me on LinkedIn and say, oh, I want this job, I'm going to go to your LinkedIn profile, check what you do on LinkedIn, and then I'm going to see that you actually just left a very silly comment on some denigrative post or some very irrational post. I'm going to perceive you, oh, this is this person, I definitely can work with you. So these are some of the nitty-gritty, the tiny details of branding that you cannot afford to joke with. Some of you on Facebook, for example, follow all of these gist blogs, and then you drop comments, you joke around and all that. If you want to use Facebook, for example, to get clients, you need to be very intentional about where you go, what you like, what you post, and all of that. It's part of your branding. So already now you have a brand, you have a personal brand. You just don't know. That's what many people don't know. So all the things you do online is your personal brand. If you have a profile and you're always twerking, that's your personal brand. You get what I'm saying? So you just are not intentional about it. But as soon as you become a freelancer, you need to be very intentional. What you post, you need to be intentional. For example, many of the jobs that I see around these days, especially if you use LinkedIn, as you fill the form to apply for the job, they're going to ask for your LinkedIn URL, for example. As a matter of fact, many international opportunities now that are not even job related, maybe academics, maybe some fellowship programs, will likely ask you for your LinkedIn profile. And what are they going to do? They want to go check your LinkedIn profile, look at your profile and see how well set up you are. Look at the stuff that you post, look at the stuff that you do. If you actually have been frivolous with the things you do on the platform, it's going to work against you. It's all part of your branding. So thriving on LinkedIn, Upwork is all about building a solid personal brand. And part of your brand is how you show up on the internet. You need to be very intentional with how you show up so that you can show up as an expert, show up as somebody who knows his onion, somebody who knows what he's doing. You don't want to tell us you're a graphic designer, then we come to your page. And all that we see on your page is today you share Davido skits. The next one you share Sydney and Ida Bassi skits. The next day you are sharing one fellowship, one crusade, and all of that, and you are supposed to be a graphic designer. All right, guys. So you need to be very intentional about how you build your brand and what you put out on the internet. So those are the 4 basic things that you need to earn a living on the internet. Again, let's go over it. Number 1, you are going to need a skill, and don't forget the 2 criteria that I told you. You're going to need a skill that is high paying. You're also going to need a skill that is in demand. If it is not high paying, you may work for 1 hour and they are paying you $2. But like I said, I worked for 4 hours, 5 hours, and I got to earn $500. So you need to choose a skill that pays you maximally for the stuff that you do. Then number 2, it has to be a skill that is in demand. There's no need selling a skill that there is no market for. All right, so that's number 1. Number 2, you need a solid portfolio because your clients have never met you in person. They want to know what you have done before, how your work looks like, so that they can determine whether they want to work with you. So you need to curate some of your best work, in a portfolio, so that every time you are interfacing with a potential client, they're going to ask you, oh, send me your portfolio. You just copy your link and send it to them, and you can position yourself to get a job. And don't forget, I said under your portfolio too comes your resume or your CV, comes your cover letter or your proposal. Very important. Then number 3, I said you're going to need to find a marketplace and position yourself. It can be Upwork, it can be LinkedIn, it can be Facebook, it can be Instagram. I know people get, freelance gigs on Instagram too. I don't use those platforms, but it works for some other people. You need to find a platform that works for you, where you're going to have, connections with your potential client. And that is where branding comes in. It is how well, how solid your personal brand is on all of these platforms that positions you as somebody people want to work with, especially if you're trying to break into some solid high-tech industries like the American industry. Again, like I said, the quality and the standard that is obtainable in the Nigerian gig economy is not the same with America, with UK. There are several things you need to know and you need to be able to do if you're going to survive or if you're going to succeed in those landscapes. So, number 1, again, your skill, your portfolio, the marketplace, and the branding. So, what's the formula? A skill plus a portfolio plus a marketplace or a platform equals money. So you want to find a skill, build a portfolio, find a marketplace or a platform, and of course under that comes your branding on those platforms, and then you're ready to begin to cash out from this industry. So let's give ourselves action steps. So I like to, every time I train people, whether it's in my own coaching program or it's on a platform like this, I'm going to give you action steps. So all of this information, how do you make sense of it? The first thing that I said I did in 2020 was I had to sit myself down and ask myself, what are the skills that you currently possess? So in my academy, for example, we have a document we've sent to our students. You look through it, we have compiled high-paying skills and in-demand skills there. So just check if you have any of those skills. If you don't have, look there and see which one you want to learn, and then you begin to learn. So do a self-evaluation. What value can you offer? Nobody's going to pay you if you are not bringing value to the table. So what are you bringing to the internet space? That's the first question you need to answer. So what skills do you have? And what is the value that these skills actually deliver? Very important. So some of you already have the skills that you can sell. So list the skills down, find out if they're high paying and in demand, then narrow down, and it's time to begin to compete to sell those skills. Number 2, what skills and competencies do you need to develop? So now that you have a skill, you also need to know that there are complementary skills that helps you to be able to, make sense or make a meaning out of your skill. I often tell people, if there are 2 skills that you must learn, everybody must master. Now, you can master one of the 2, but if you can master the 2, brilliant. Number 1, you need to be able to write. For example, if you want to compete on Upwork, you're going to need to write proposals. So how do you write a solid and a compelling proposal if you do not know how to write? It's going to be your undoing if you write a proposal to, say, a client from America and everything is just laced with error. Let's say it's 1 or 2 errors. We can actually feel like, oh, it's just some typographical error. But let's say you actually write a proposal and all of your sentences are not well constructed. They don't make a single meaning. And let's even make things very worse. You are writing a proposal for a freelance writing job. How do you apply for a freelance writing job and you just could not write a proposal of, say, 50 to 60 words or say 100 words, and you want to get a job that demands that you write 1,500 words? So guys, if you're going to survive in this space, you need to improve your writing skill, and you also need to improve your speaking skill. Some of you need to get better in being able to communicate the value that you offer like this. If you are listening to me or watching me right now and you have phobia to just press play or press and record or press go live on your Facebook, I'm charging you right now that after this training, you need to intentionally work on yourself such that you can be able to speak just like I'm doing and just like you see several other people do on the internet. Because sometimes when you apply for a job on this internet space or in this gig economy, you might need to have an interview and it's going to be online. So for example, you need to know how to use platforms like this, like StreamYard, like Google Meet. You need to be able to use such platforms because your potential client may send you a link and say, we're going to have a meeting for 4 p.m. And then you're going to be saying, oh, how do I join? How do I join? And, you can't ask the white person, how do I join? So some of these skills are the things you need to master and get used to. right now. So like I said, master how to write or how to speak. But if you can master the two of them, I tell you, the world, the gig economy is made for you already to be able to survive. Number three, so I've identified the skill that you want to sell. It's time to build a portfolio and it's time to get on a platform. It's time to get on the platform, Upwork, get on LinkedIn, get on Fiverr, and then position yourself to sell your skills. I am wrapping up already, the dawn. I hope you are on standby. All right, my people. This is the point where I take a bow and I say thank you for being a part of this, this teaching, this training. Like you can see on the screen, there is love and there is light. And I want to say to you guys, I believe and I strongly am an advocate of, if you follow me on social media, for example, on Facebook, for example, I've been advocating for 2 to 3 things over the years. The first of it is get a digital skill. I'm saying it and saying it again, get a digital skill. If you're watching me now, you don't have any digital skill, today determine to get at least one digital skill. The world that we're in and that we're also moving towards require that you are very digitally literate. And I'm saying it strongly. You need to be digitally literate. You need to know how to do basic things on the internet. You need to be able to navigate Google and find answers to the questions you have. You need to be able to go to YouTube and find the tutorials that you need, no matter where they are hidden. I just told you how I designed my website, just watching the 3 hours tutorial, but there are people who do not know how to go to YouTube and find such a tutorial. So you need to, maximize the internet and technology. You need to be able to navigate the internet. And like I said, you need to get at least a digital skill. And like I said, when I see young people today want to pick up a skill and it's still just all about fashion design. Now, I'm not against fashion design. I'm not against, makeup artists. Please do not quote me wrongly. But I'm simply saying that if you flow with the trend, you're going to see that there's so much potential on the internet than some of these things that people go to actually pursue in the name of trying to acquire a skill. And even when you have those skills, you still need to have some of the internet space in order to be able to make the most of them. Let's say you are a fashion designer, for example, you can use Facebook to boost your business to a great extent. So as you are learning the fashion design, ensure that you're also getting sound and getting yourself, acclimatized with the social media so that you can leverage on it. For example, they don't have several courses, several programs that can help you master how to sell and how to win on the internet. You want to take advantage of some of such programs. Like I said, get a digital skill. Number two, improve your writing and speaking skill. Ensure that you are able to communicate your value. There is nothing you do in this life, whether you are a 9 to 5 professional or you are a freelancer, there is nothing you do in this life that does not require that you communicate your value. And so that is why you need to master how to write and how to speak. You need to master any of this. And of course, I call you blessed if you can actually master the two of them. Like I said again, the internet space is filled with so much opportunity if you are looking to the right places, So get to the point where you do so much more with the internet than, some of these general things that people do. You need to go beyond the surface if you're going to make the most of the numerous opportunities that we have today. I always like to say that Africans have no excuse in 2023. Of course, we have bad government. For example, if you're in Nigeria, we have issues with government, we have issues with infrastructure, we have the fact that the environment is not conducive for doing business, we have the fact that our internet facilities are not too good. A lot of things already puts you at a disadvantage. But even at that, the internet and technology gives you a level playing ground with somebody in the first world. Now, putting aside these limitations, but the internet and technology gives you so much leverage, such that you can be somewhere in the lungu of Nigeria and you can be competing with somebody in US. Like I said, as long as you are good at what you do, the playing ground is leveled already by the internet. So you can stay in Nigeria, earn in dollars, and live a big boy life. One of the reasons I have not traveled out is because I feel it is more convenient and comfortable for me to earn $1,000 a month, that's about 800K now, and to spend it in Nigeria than to earn the same amount in America and to spend it in America. So I actually feel like, in the meantime, I'm going to still be around here, living my cool life and my big boy life, earning in dollars and spending it right here in Nigeria. It actually makes a lot of sense than going there to then go and be doing some of those silly things that people go abroad to go do. So guys, you can stay in Nigeria, you can be in Kenya, you can be in Ghana, you can be in some of these African countries, and you can actually compete fairly with people that are actually from the advanced world. The internet and technology gives you all a level playing ground. And so while we have a lot of disadvantages, we also have a lot of things that can work for you if you know how to make the most of them. I put it to you, you have no excuse. Vusi has a very beautiful quote that has not left my brain since I had it in 2021. He says, your excuse is what? Is legit. For example, I'm not trying to invalidate your excuse. It is legit, but you cannot hold on to your excuse and also have results. You need to let one go. So if you hold on to your excuses, you're not going to have results. But if you really want results, you've got to put your excuses aside and you've got to do whatever it takes to actually be able to get the result that you desire. So on this note, I take a bow. Love and light. The Dawn.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much for this. I'm so glad that you had this conversation with me today. Thank you. I'm so excited and glad. All right. So, guys, I don't know if you've got some great value. We have just 15 minutes, for questions. So if you've got great value, please ask your questions and let me know. Ask your questions now, guys. I have 15 minutes to go. I'm actually the one in the building right now, where I am at the moment. So if you have a question to ask, please ask the question. It's been a great presentation so far from our guest today. His name is Ajayi Olalikon. All right. So somebody's asking, Abike is asking, how can someone enroll into your academy?
Just send me a DM on Facebook and we're going to talk about it. My name is Ajalalik on Facebook. I think if you check the Dawn's wall, you're going to see my name in the post the Dawn made earlier. So Ajalalik is my name. Send me a DM on Facebook. We actually have registration on for our 8th cohort for the Digital Millionaire. So send me a DM and I'm going to tell you how to enroll into the training program. Any other question? I'm actually in the comments. I want to see.
Are you able to see the comments? I don't know.
I'm actually with my phone, so I'm.
Oh, great! Oh, fantastic! So somebody's asking, is there anywhere someone can earn in dollars except for PayPal? I don't know.
Absolutely. All right. So while we have a disadvantage with PayPal, even though as Nigerians trust us, we have also found a way around PayPal. But I'm not going to get into that. This is not about PayPal now. I have a PayPal account that sends and receives money, even though I'm in Nigeria. But let's leave PayPal aside. There are several options for you to be able to collect your money from clients even abroad. So what you need to do is every time you apply for a job with an American client or say somebody outside Nigeria and they say, oh, we want PayPal. Some jobs are going to tell you strictly it's PayPal or nothing. So that may not be a job for you, except you want to find a means around how to also create your PayPal. But let's say you don't have a PayPal, that you are disqualified already. But some other clients, when they see what you can do, they're going to be able to they will make some allowances for you and say, oh, okay, you don't have PayPal, so how do we do it? Then you can recommend a lot of options. The first time I actually made money on the internet, which is the gig I mentioned earlier, $60, I told the clients, okay, fine. PayPal does not work in Nigeria, but I have 2 platforms that I use. For example, I use what's this platform? The Dawn. What's this? What's this payment? This popular payment gateway.
Seller.
No, not Seller.
Flutterwave.
This one's
Flutterwave.
Flutterwave and this other one. This is their twin brother.
Paystack.
Yeah. So the first money I received on the internet was through Paystack. All I needed to do was generate an invoice, copy the link, send it to the client, and in 30 seconds on one minute, my payments got to me already in Nigeria. So that's an option. Number 2, some of your clients are going to accept to send you money through Western Union. That works. Remitly is one of them. I also have a client currently that I work with that pays me through Remitly. Remitly is one of them. When you also want to start as a freelancer, number 4, you need to go open a DOM account. You need to open a DOM account with one of the banks in Nigeria and add a domiciliary account. It's a dollar account, it's a euro account, it's a pound. You can open any of them. And so some of your clients are going to pay you directly into your bank account. That also works for me. So there are several options. There's also Payoneer, not to forget. There's Payoneer too. You can also open a Payoneer account. When you open a Payoneer account, Payoneer is going to give you an American account number, and a European account number, and a British account number. I'm not sure if I get it too correct, but they're going to give you 3 accounts. One is going to be able to receive money in euros, another in pounds, and another in dollars. So you can also send that to your clients, and they can pay you to your bank accounts in US. Then from your US account, you transfer it to your domiciliary account. That also works. So there are a lot of ways around it. That is answered already. Next question.
Okay, I think that should be the last one. Somebody's asking, how about one who wants to go into virtual assistance? You didn't talk about the skills.
I could not mention all the skills. I told you there are more than 1,000 skills you can sell online, and virtual assistant is one of the high-paying and in-demand skills. I tell you for free, it's one of the skills that is high-paying now and in demand. So if you're a virtual assistant, you are set up already to actually make money in the freelance space. I guarantee you that 100.
All right, thank you so much for this. I'm grateful for this great opportunity that I had with you. Um, I'm glad that we had this conversation today. We thank God for everything. So thank you for the opportunity to have hosted you. I'm so glad and I'm happy for this. Um, for this. Okay, so guys, you can see his name. Just follow him. Just follow him. Follow him on his. Follow him right away. Follow him right away. Follow him right away on all his channels, and you'll be glad that you did. Follow him, follow him, follow him on all the channels, and now you'll be glad that you did. All right. Okay, so thank you so much, Olalekon, for this great opportunity to have been here. Thank you for this great opportunity. God bless you for everything that you're doing. Thank you for coming on board to teach and teach us. God bless you. God bless you. God bless
It's
you. All
my
right.
pleasure, sir. Thank you for your platform too. I'm so grateful. I'm highly
Thank you.
excited to be here. Yes, sir.
Well done. Good night, everyone. God bless you.